I know Southampton fans are going to be disappointed today because Leicester dropped points and Leeds dropped points and Southampton didn't win. But nothing has changed for Southampton other than there's one less game to play. There's still 9 points off the top two. That was the same before this round of games, wasn't it? It's just kind of reordered itself slightly. And they've still got away trips to Leeds on the last day and Leicester and Ipswich on Monday. So as much as Saints fans will be disappointed, and yes, it could have gone better, nothing's changed, has it? The gap's the same and the mission is the same. Southampton need to have a hell of a run through to the end of the season, and they probably need to beat two of the three teams in the top three they've got away games against. And let's be honest, they need to get the points on the board. So that's probably not Leeds on the last day, isn't it? So they probably the assignment just hasn't changed. They've got to go to Ipswich and win probably. And they've got to go to Leicester and win. And, then we'll be sat here if they win both of those games and everything's tightened up and still be the Preston game in hand to go in the back end. But we'll be like, oh, okay, Southampton are in the conversation. If they don't manage to do that, they're going to be in the playoffs. So just my point being is I actually wouldn't be it's a bit like one of those cup games where you know what you need to do and you need to win and you concede a goal and you level or what have. And it's like, well, nothing's changed. The mission is still the same. You still need to go and win the game. And Southampton's mission hasn't changed. I think I'm labouring my point here. Leicester do feel like the only real losers in this one today. I mean, literally, they're the only team to lose their game, aren't they? And of all the form charts, 4 points in 6 games. So it was that triple defeat. Then it was a win and a draw, wasn't it? They beat Sunderland and then drew at Hull. And now a defeat again today. And in such a high standard season, I know Ipswich had one, didn't they, where they were 1 win in 9, weren't they, Ipswich? And obviously Leeds had the start of the season. Southampton had that September run. Everyone's had a tiny little blip, 6 games, 9 games, whatever it's not really tiny, but everyone's had a blip and then just been winning the entire rest of the time. It's not been average the rest of the time. It's just been incredibly high standard. So Leicester are having theirs right now, and it's just, does it keep going? And you do start to look at Leicester's fixtures and the way that I think it was Lee Hendry on the coverage was making the point today. The way that Bristol City played them in that they kind of sat like a spring and managed to counter-attack. And yeah, okay, if Jamie Vardy has his shooting boots on, this is not a conversation and Leicester have won and it's them that would be top of the table, wouldn't it? But that Norwich are in great form. Birmingham with Rowett and Millwall with Harris, especially Millwall away, they'll make it awkward. Plymouth aren't playing well at the moment, although the Norwich fans are saying they played well today. And then look, West Brom and Southampton. So it's by no means an easy run for Leicester. And when we're looking at, your 2 points per game seems to just be the minimum that you're going to need. The kind of winning streak that, winning three out of 4 is probably going to be what everyone's going to need to set themselves up. Well, a couple of draws in there and, maybe what looked like just a weird outlier in Leicester's season turns into use whatever word you're comfortable with, a wobble, a stutter, or anything in between. So, yeah, Leicester, it's concerning, isn't it? But, I looked at the 11 and Didi was back and Ricardo off the bench. Just got a brilliant first 11, a brilliant first sort of 16 squad. They're more than capable of going on a 4-game winning streak and putting themselves right back in the box seat. And of course, the crazy thing is, I'm sure there'll be plenty of sort of downbeat attitudes towards Leicester today. But look, for goodness sake, stay in touch, win the game in hand. They're top. They're above Ipswich and Leeds if they can manage to do that. But the trend isn't that at the moment. For Leeds, I think they can't be too unhappy they've been on an absolutely scandalously good run of 12 wins in 13 games. You cannot win every single game. You just can't. And Leeds were away at a year two parachute team. Parachute teams have quality players. That's what the parachute payments do. They allow relegated Premier League clubs to keep players that are Premier League level. And okay, Dennis, the guy we're probably picking out, is on loan, but he was at Watford. He's a very high-end player when he wants to be, as Troy Deeney was saying. But Leeds did have some selection issues, and Daniel Farke was sort of saying it was the perfect time to play them. So if he's not just messaging to his fan base, and there is some truth in that, which I think there probably is, then draw the game, score a couple of goals, come back from behind twice. If Leeds now win against Hull so what is it for Leeds? With 12 wins in 13, that's now 12 wins in 14. That's 14 unbeaten. If they then win against Hull, it's 15 games unbeaten. It's 13 wins in 15. It's still title winning, promotion winning form. And the trend is very, very good. And I've said all along, the guy in the dugout at Leeds is the most credible of all the managers, with the 2 title wins in his back pocket on his CV. So, yeah, I'm sure Leeds fans will be disappointed if they take just tonight in microcosm. But given the mitigating circumstances, with a few players who would have started not being available to start, and given the big picture and the long-term trend, I wouldn't be too unhappy if I was a Leeds fan. I don't have to play if I was an Ipswich fan, because I am an Ipswich fan, and Ipswich obviously had the best day of anyone in terms of the points differentials. And if we're going to be completely black and white about this, and it's loads of people were saying to me in the comments on the watch-alongs today, oh, it's not about the performance at this point in the season. I'd say that in cup football. I'd say that if there was 2 games to go or 1 game to go, but there is still a run of games to go. There's a fair argument. I didn't watch the Middlesbrough game. I watched the other 3 pretty much for all of the 90 minutes. Pretty good argument. The Ipswich were the worst performing team on my eye test of all of them. And you can flip this both ways, can't you? If you're, and again, people they're not honest about it. They don't talk in good faith. They choose the narrative that suits what's best for the team they support. And sometimes people don't even know they're doing it. That's just the way their emotions guide them as football fans. But if you were really accentuating the positive of that, you'd say, amazing, fighting performance, kept the clean sheet, weren't at their best, managed to get a goal, rode their luck at times, and got the 3 points. And people say things like playing badly and winning, that's what promotions are made of, and blah, blah, blah. That's the completely exaggerated toxic positivity response. The toxic negative, which I tend to have been hearing on Twitter from fans of rival teams, oh, lucky Ipswich, blah, blah, blah. Goal went through the keeper's hands and, should have been a goal the other end, got disallowed. And I think when we're coming down to luck as the conclusion, I don't think the analysis is very good. And I just think you've got to talk over the big picture and say that how many games have Ipswich won now? Ipswich won 25 games this season. They've lost fewer games than any other side. They are the only team in this promotion race to keep a clean sheet today. They are the only team to win today. So I think it starts to get a bit churlish when we're talking about luck this and luck that. It's probably just a few salty people, and the right-minded football fans are a bit more respectful of this League One team, who's currently above 3 brilliant Year One parachute teams with amazing players, amazing points totals as well. So, look, it's been a great day for Ipswich, but I'm going to hold the line here. And it's not me trying to dampen expectations or play some psychological game on myself. I'm trying to call this in good faith as I see it. Not much has changed, guys. Not much has changed. Yeah, okay. Ipswich have jumped from 3rd to 1st, and Leeds and Leicester have both dropped a place. Fine. There's still 1 point between first and second and third. Leicester still have a game in hand. We still have 7, 8, and 9 games to play for these top 4 teams. So, in the small picture, today is a big win for Ipswich, but it doesn't matter if Southampton go to Ipswich on Monday and win, and Leeds can pick up anything at home to Hull, they'll go above Ipswich, and Leicester, if they can beat Norwich, they'll go above Ipswich, and it could all flip right back around again. So, just to round this conversation out, were I a Southampton fan or a Leicester fan feeling really negative, not that much has changed. And were I an Ipswich fan feeling really, really positive, not that much has changed, really, when you think about all of it. And we go again on Monday. All the players are going to be trying to get some sleep, warm down tomorrow, light session on Sunday, and then they're at it again. And I suppose this is the point where you would prefer to have been on the road. I think Southampton, they're the only ones who are going to be travelling. Everybody else is coming from away games to home games in respect of Leicester at home to Norwich, and Ipswich at home, obviously, to Southampton, Leeds at home to Hull. And everything could be different after Monday. And then we'll have a week to kind of reflect going into it. Well, not quite a week with a bank holiday Monday game, isn't it? But you see what I'm saying? So this is why it's a mini podcast in between Good Friday and Easter Monday. And, you know, I think you actually have to view the Easter games as a double, and we can really sink our teeth into what the impact is on Monday. And look, if things double down and it continues to be bad for Leicester and maybe Southampton, and, you know, continues to be, you know, decent for Leeds and good for Ipswich, then, you know, that compounds over 2 games when maybe less so over 1. So look, that is my take on the promotion picture. Let me know yours in the comments. Maybe we'll clip that one out. But yes, bad day for Leicester. Yes, good day for Ipswich. But I'm going to repeat that line again. When you think about it, not that much has really changed. It is still so tight.